one's casting spells except Gandalf, the Witch King of Angmar, or Sauron or Saruman. You know, like they have to be a wizard or, you know, like some kind of
just like angel tier, you know, character, right?
Like,
if you don't know, like the
Valar, Maiar, the Istari, or the wizards are like lesser Maiar. What I know all this nerdy shit.
Mm-hmm. It's like Stephen Colbert is right here.
Yeah, I listen to him talking like, okay, he knows this stuff.
Yeah. I feel like an evil maniac.
Yes, I got a lotion on that.
In case he wouldn't do it myself. My minions, I killed them all.
Is it recording?
Yeah, we're recording. Yeah. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to do the...
Oh, you can. Clap. Clap.
Take two.
That's how people clap when I make a dad joke.
Just once.
Twice, but like that, you know. Well, that's like extra good.
That's sarcastic right there. Like, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Goodness.
Greetings.
We're back.
Where would we go?
Well, okay. They don't know we were gone for a while.
Every time we film in a completely different room.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start like rotating around. This is our bathroom. And just open the door to the toilet, and it's just like, welcome, friends.
Hi. It's the throne room. We did
Porcelain throne.
Switch things up, obviously, as you can tell.
I built this table, not from scratch, but
He did put it
we got the
together.
instructions.
Yeah, it's actually made of bread.
There's actually it's always Sunny in Philadelphia episode. It's like season 17 at this point, but
Jesus.
episode 2
Yeah.
is worth it. Because sometimes, yes, that show gives secondhand embarrassment like really badly, but it has to do with it. Is this cake type thing?
Yeah, it's kind
Guys,
of a spoiler, but it's so funny. Like,
it was mentioned in the beginning.
I don't like that show, and I was like, that's funny.
The fact that I like it shows me how evil I know I am.
I can't get through much of it at a time because it makes me feel worse about humanity, which right now I don't need.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of like also like it's the opposite of South Park. Whereas like South Park makes you laugh about the things that are happening.
Right.
But then It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia reminds you that like,
How bad people
oh
are.
my God, but these people are actually real, like outside of the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, it's a little too close to reality for me.
Right. And there's such a weird dichotomy too, like we're okay with people being jerks on TV, but in real life we would never put up with it. Like those people are horrible people.
Well, it's a safe environment. It's like why I like to, if I start a new video game like Warcraft 2 or something, like I play for the most evil race possible, or why I go down on SSX3 and see or SSX Tricky and see how many knockdowns I can get.
Right.
It's like it's a safe environment for violence that doesn't harm anyone.
I think it's why people like Grand Theft Auto so much.
Yeah.
Like it's just, I mean, there are some people who are like, yeah, that'd be a cool life to live and everything, but like it's just an outlet, right? You know.
And you heard it here, but video game violence, that having a negative impact on kids has been debunked. It actually builds community and group problem solving. So in your face.
Yeah, take that, Congress.
Boomers.
Yeah.
Oh no, our 3 viewers, you just lost them.
No, boomers in Congress, like that. The overlap is like a circle on the Venn diagram.
There's like a little sliver of cool pot smoking. Like
besides, they're not going to stand up to us.
Right.
Right.
Principles.
I have stronger muscles than them.
I believe it. You've been working out.
That's right.
That's
right. But yes, magic.
Yeah,
we're talking about magic today.
That is our topic today.
Yeah.
What is the magic word?
Now, do it. That's my magic.
That would be all.
Do it now. You have to get the inflection just right, though, or the spell won't work.
The Australian inflection.
Or it makes it come back at you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Welcome to Bards and Balladeers, the podcast about story in all its forms. I am Oscar and Kate and Rio. No, this is Oscar. That's Kate, and I'm Rio.
I'm Oscar. He's Kate. She's Rio.
Yeah.
I'm Rio.
Thanks for getting my pronouns right. Thank you.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to.
It says take turns, one sentence about who we are. He's an author. She's an author. I'm an author. Okay.
I'm also a musician.
Yes.
I'm also a genius.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
In his own fantasy world, he is.
It's a magic, man.
So we are you've probably seen us here on YouTube or Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. Please subscribe to us if you haven't. Helps us out a lot and everything. The algorithm loves, when you're touching buttons. So please do that. We also have a Discord. So if you want to talk to us after the fact or just kind of chit chat and a little bit of unadulterated there too, it's kind of fun. Share memes. You can see our cats. It's nice, because we locked them out. They can't get in here anymore. So all that stuff is in the description below. So, but as we have done this backwards, or maybe not, we'll see where we put this in. We're talking about magic today, and then back to magic.
So we're talking about magic in stories, which is, it's a broad topic, and we haven't covered it before in over 40 episodes.
Sure.
I mean, we touched on it, but not as a topic by itself. And I thought it was time.
Is this our 40th episode?
No.
This will be 44? If I do
that sounds about right.
Yeah, because 43 is, shoot, I forgot. I don't remember. Well, we do so many things that I can't remember. But 43 was the last one I did.
Why don't you just say XLIV? Who can remember 44 anyway?
Was that a Picard?
No. It's a little sketch comedy about what, when people converted from Roman numerals to decimal.
Sure.
It's who can remember 44? Why don't you just say XLIV?
Wizards.
Anyway.
Why did we choose this topic about magic, and why is it so prevalent? Actually, is another good question. And we'll figure all that out.
And what is magic?
What is magic?
Precursor to science fact.
Oh,
I know that
there's more to that quote, forgive me, but
I know. When I was a kid, I guess it's anything that's effects that are achieved through what we flag as unreality.
Sure.
Where there's no obvious cause and effect. That's how we define magic.
Sure. It's what's out in the world where it's just the magic that you see at Vegas, whatever, that's all magic. It's just when you don't know anything, I really truly believe humans have to attribute something to it, either by giving it a god or giving it unknown or paranormal or whatever. That's that magic. Right. So, but then we expand upon it because it's kind of fun, Yeah. Why we go to scary movies. We go to scary movies because it's you want to be scared. You want to be magic. You want to be entertained. You want to see what things you can do with magic or how you can,
right.
Especially in stories, as writers, we want to put that in. Well, maybe you should put some magic in your story is what we're saying.
Oh, I started with fantasy. I just haven't published any of it. Yeah. In fact, if there are any wealthy patrons out there and you want to support my life, I will write my dozen or so Shadow World novels that I could easily write just on what games I've run already.
There you go.
So that will have lots of magic.
Yeah. I think because I've been reading your book, she should be happy.
Yay.
I'm Port Royal right now, so it's really good.
Oh, sweet.
But you should just make Koya an reincarnated Incan goddess, and then there's your magic. Do it. Do it. Already, I just love her.
Where's my fainting coach?
Somewhere in
cut that in.
Somewhere in book 2, you'll mean what her name means, and that'll be a little bit funny. Oh, you're not there yet.
No.
Potato.
Oh, damn it. How did you know?
Sweet potato, actually.
My name is Potato. Sweet Potato. Why am I speaking in Russian accent? But it's funny. When I was a kid, I don't know if you guys had this experience, but when I was a kid, you ever walk under a street lamp and then it suddenly shuts off at night, or it suddenly turns on again or something, and you're
because you're a wizard.
Am I putting off some kind of aura?
Yeah.
And now, of course, you can Google it, and I did actually about why that happens. And a lot of the time they're on a cycle, or either a heat cycle or a light level cycle or something. And some of them will register some kind of motion. A lot of the time they're it just means they're more likely to be faulty or something. Oh, the older ones. Sure. So, but when you're a kid, it's an unexplained phenomenon that you think, does this have proximity to me? And it's sort of magical thinking, but I'll cover that later. But
how coincidence does seem like its own kind of magic in a way.
Right. And people try to fill that gap with all kinds of explanations.
Yep.
Yeah. I know you were saying something about Narnia a little bit ago before we started filming, or in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And I was I want to hear what it is.
Maybe. Oh yeah. Was that? I don't know if it was recording, but no. But as we were talking about this topic, I had a revelation the other day that of what magic systems do I actually like. And I truly as we were talking about it, I couldn't really think of a lot. You guys were coming up with ideas left and right. And I was well, I don't like it when it's so much in my face. I've realized this because I was thinking about Chronicles of Narnia and how in the books and in the movies, the magic is I think the word I used was very ancient. And I like that kind of a magic system where it's just so innately or inherently in the world around people or around these characters, and they don't necessarily need to use the magic. Like maybe the main characters, I don't know, in some way, shape, or form, it's not needed to get the overarching like plot completed or to reach some kind of a success, but it is there more like an ornament or like
you know, it's almost like is when you were describing it, it's almost like nature, how nature is just kind of in physics and like, you know, all that stuff. It's just kind of there.
Yeah.
And we just accept it and we don't question it because it's just how the world works. So maybe in some respect, you like when magic is just put in there as a, I don't want to even say like an afterthought, but it just so embedded into the world that people aren't like seeking it.
Yeah.
It just, they live in it, right?
Or they're maybe not even aware of it.
That too.
You know,
Yeah.
like it's a very similar thing in Lord of the Rings, which I guess, you know, the two authors knew each other. But, you know, hobbits will talk to the elves about elf magic and the elves are like, we don't really know what you mean.
Right.
It's just how they live,
Right. But when seen from the outside, like another culture, it looks like magic.
Yeah. What is hobbit magic? Just
there isn't any.
There is. It's their insatiable appetite. Like
that and their ability to just like experience joy and not be weighed down. I feel like I think
it's hinted at in the books that a lot of it has to do with resiliency because they're so grounded, they're so kind of connected to nature, to the earth, that they're just more resilient than anyone would expect.
Sure.
And it's funny when you said, you know, because it's eating everything, like the parody Board of the Rings, you know, at some point the parody of Gandalf is like, you know, give me that. You can't eat it, so you have no use for it. Yeah, accurate.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, like, so a lot of their magic revolves around like crafting things. Like, you know, not hobbits, but like in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So, you know, whatever race is crafting a thing, the thing takes on some almost like magical properties like that reflect their race. Like dwarves, anything they make tends to be durable. If they're making doors, they tend to be like they conceal better than other people's doors. Cause like their like racial tendencies tend to be like, or cultural at least tend to be like more secretive, more enduring.
So it's more enchantments than it is actually. Well, I mean, still magic, but
right.
Enchantment. It's from Dragon Age. Oh man, but I do like that about Tolkien's like universe, like let's say whatever, because it is so subtle, right? It's so subtle to like depending on who's doing it, and it is. Really, it's how did you describe it as we were talking? It's
like innate, or
it's innate, but I'm talking when like describing the magic system, like low magic, high fantasy.
Yeah, it's a weird setting because it's almost like the highest of high fantasy. But if you think about the prevalence of any sort of obvious magic, it's very low magic. Like none of the main characters can really do magic. No one's casting spells except Gandalf, the Witch King of Angmar, or Sauron or Saruman. You know, like they have to be a wizard or, you know, like some kind of
just like angel tier, you know, character, right? Like, if you don't know like the
Valar, Maiar, the Istari or the wizards are like lesser Maiar. What I know all this nerdy shit.
It's like Stephen Colbert is right here.
Yeah, I listen to him talking like, okay, he knows this stuff.
Yeah. So, and James Franco, did you see when he had like a conversation with James Franco? He's like, my mom really likes Lord of the Rings too. I'm going to try to trip you up. And then he like on page whatever, like who is this and said this or whatever. Like, and depending on the version of your book you would have, like it could be a different page 420 or whatever. Right. Why 420 was the first?
Hobbits would approve.
Yeah.
But and then Stephen Colbert goes back at it. It's one of my most favorite like Stephen Colbert moments too. I think this was on his night show too, but it feels like this was forever ago.
He still has it for now.
Yeah. But with like this classification, let's say, of different types of magic systems, before we go too much further, I kind of want to talk about the high magic, low magic, hard magic, soft magic.
So yeah, magic
Magic systems. Yeah. Yes. But yeah, defining the systems. Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
No problem.
Defining the magic system. I think because not everybody is aware of like these like structures, and you don't need to know, I guess, these classifications in order to just enjoy a magical story. But at the same time, you might find that this might explain why you love or don't love a particular magic story. I find that might be the case because I know we've discovered that Rio's
it's hard to switch back, isn't it?
Like it is. Let's say displeasure for Lord of the Rings. I don't want to say it's because you hate it or whatever. It's not his favorite.
I found a new love for it just recently because we did watch them all, like, you know,
for my birthday. Yep.
Next, he's gonna find a new love for Lost.
One day.
No.
And the Grey. But because it is that low magic type setting.
And that's what like I didn't like for sure and everything, because like you have all this, especially like if they were discovering the magic and no one knew about anything that was going on in there, I would feel like that would be a little different story. But like when Gandalf is all powerful and he can basically do whatever he wants, you know, I felt like he should have been doing more. And like, where's the fireballs? Where's the lightning bolts or whatever? But when I watch it this time, and you guys probably already know this, and again, it's just watching it later in life and with new eyes and everything, is that magic is to push the story forward, because all of this is very much like a parable. Like it's very much a story about, and they need to go through this in order to get something out of their journey. Like, you know, if Gandalf did everything, then it wouldn't matter. Like if they could have just destroyed the ring, they would have and everything. But sometimes since they're like these higher beings, you know, with this magic and this,
it would have been too powerful too. They would have been corrupted. And
yeah, I saw that more this time. And again, I don't know why I watched it when it was in theaters originally, and
because it's a lot to take in.
It is, especially if you know nothing about Lord of the Rings. It's like, when's the fighting happen? Like, where's the magic?
Kind of like how I feel about Dune right now. I digress, but just Dune.
Oh, Dune. I thought you meant like the video game.
Well, and also if you read the books too, you realize that Gandalf isn't really allowed. He's not supposed to go about things that way. But
there's rules.
But also like the point of the story of that portion of the story, I think, is that wisdom will get you further than magic. Like if you look at that kind of magic that you're talking about, that's more about control. And that's what Saruman does. And we see how that ends up. And that's why he's always sort of envious of Gandalf. It's like, he has more wisdom. Yeah. It's spelled out in the books, like, you know, or especially in like the Silmarillion, like this, the wisest of the Istari, whatever.
I think too, it's because like you say, it's about wisdom, and you can't just like brute force your way through things.
You have to, you have to convince people and get them on board and show people why they should do things and encourage people and bring out their courage.
It's actually, now that you're saying that, it's a great like parable for leadership as well.
Yeah.
You can't control your people. You have to sort of,
guide
them along the way, get buy-in and all that stuff. I didn't realize that until just now. But yes, hard magic, soft magic, high magic, low magic. Does anybody want to take a stab at that?
Well, I know for like for soft magic is when like you don't really have defined rules where like it's just magic in the world. Like Harry Potter's a very good example of soft magic, because like when they need it, they'll have a spell, or like they'll just kind of like, especially like with the wand fightings, they're just kind of like flicking stuff at each other. And like, where's the mechanics behind that? You know,
they have, so that you do need some kind of a device though.
Sure.
Device like a wand or some kind of something
focus.
Yeah.
I would have called that hard magic, because I don't know I've not heard the terms hard and soft magic.
Yeah.
I've heard high and low magic.
Same like hard and soft sci-fi. Like, you know, like Star Trek's hard sci-fi, where Star Wars is soft sci-fi. It's because Star Wars is just kind of malleable. Like it just like,
so it's like sort of the magic then is in the background, or
it's just
Harry Potter. That's
like,
definitely not.
It's more like rules, more like guidelines.
Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe it's like hard fantasy versus soft fantasy, and then high magic versus low magic.
Yeah, and I think there might be two distinguishes, because I never heard high magic versus low magic. That was new when we started talking about it, and maybe I should have done some more research. But
I like everything high and hard, so
you gotta get a stool.
Yeah,
don't get stools involved.
Wow,
sorry, this is way off topic. Okay,
but no, it's just more so that like when I'm trying to think of something that has like hard set rules, like. I mean, D&D is a good example. Like when you have wizards and sorcerers and everything, like wizards have like reagents and stuff.
But if you're just telling the story, those aren't all going to be visible.
Sure.
And so then the question is like, it seems like there are actual rules to Harry Potter magic. They go over more in the books.
Like, and yes, I agree. Like, and I'm not saying that there isn't rules and everything, but
they do
like,
seem kind of made up as you go along.
Right. Like,
but they're there. It's been there the whole time. Yeah.
It's one of the things. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I just think that is a byproduct of the writing of the story and writing in a way like to market and trying to get it out super quick.
I don't know if
we interrupted you. So
no,
yeah,
okay.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if I ever talked about it, but it's one of the things that like I have when I start writing books and everything, I have to make sure I don't deviate from what I have established just to fit the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because
contrivance.
Then, like, where was that when you needed it before? Like, especially if they knew or they used it later and everything. I mean, I understand if they start developing new stuff and they think about something or somebody brings up something new.
Which is why she does all the world building first. So she's like, I will absolutely not be caught out.
Yeah. No, it is good. Yeah. It's smart. But it's just like, and there's nothing, again, wrong. I'm not going to say anybody's wrong with doing that. It's just when you have the soft magic and you can do anything with it, then it just becomes like, well, then it's a plot device.
Right.
With hard magic, I almost feel like this is the world and you can't deviate from that world. And when you do, or if people do, then there has to be like a hard consequence to it. Like if end of the world maybe, or something like that, that's at least that's my understanding. I'll maybe look at it. And
Harry Potter kind of uses both. Yeah. Where it's like, sometimes it's like, okay, that's really squishy. And other times like this is an established rule from the get-go and they rigidly stick to it.
So like it's a moderate magic.
Sure.
It's a medium roast.
Medium well,
Yeah.
I just don't know if like Harry Potter, like, and there's no fault to this. I'm not saying that it's bad or that you shouldn't do this. I just feel like she had a good idea and then she started doing stuff and then she had to fill those holes in later. Like, so.
Right. So not to get too off into like definitions, but what you'd say to sum up is hard magic tends to more obviously follow rules pretty consistently. Yes. Soft magic it sort of fills in the gaps.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then
more plot driven, I would say.
And then high magic and low magic is more about like amount of obvious magic versus like, having it be more innate or like less amount, one or the other.
I would agree.
I have an example.
Let us know if you have other thoughts.
Sorry.
Too. No, it's okay.
No. For sci-fi, at least as a type of magic, and I can't think of a hard and soft magic right now, but for sci-fi, we watched The Creator. I don't know if you ever saw by Garrett.
Mm-hmm. Evans.
Thank you. I think it's Garrett.
Mm-hmm. Not to be confused with the director of The Raid. Their names are very similar.
It's when it's when the technology kind of like fluctuates through a story. It's like it's kind of like when you play a video game and then like all of a sudden every boss is kind of harder and harder and harder. And you're thinking, why don't you just start with the hardest boss and just like eradicate them? Like, what's the tier system? So the story kind of builds up what technology or what you are using for those situations. But the creator, there's like a lot of technology that didn't come out until later in the story. And it was like, where was that technology before? Why weren't they using that to get this kid? Like it just didn't make sense. Like to me, like that's to me what I think the biggest difference is.
So the cohesiveness, like having the system be like somewhat clear and cohesive and not really deviate from that later on for the sake of contrivance. So we've established that. I guess why do people like magic? What does it do for stories? Like, like or which of those do you like better? Like high magic, low magic, hard, soft magic.
I know I did kind of mention that the fact that you said I like magic that functions in a way that's like the natural elements, like physics in a universe. That is definitely my favorite, like more innate, more commonly understood. Don't get me wrong. Like there was a movie with the guy that does the voice of Hiccup and also Nicolas Cage played Merlin.
Sorceress and Princess. Yeah.
I freaking love that movie. It's a horrible movie probably now, but a good example of like, you're watching the kid discover the magic system like before our eyes. Yeah. And so I do enjoy those every once in a while, but I more so like when it's just already there, already established, very ancient, very much like Chronicles of Narnia, Lord of the Rings. Yeah. I'm sure there's some other ones too. There are so many, but like I mentioned earlier,
video games do a very good job of using magic because it becomes like a mechanic, it becomes a mechanic that they have set rules because you can't just program it and then not use those rules that are programmed. Like you had to stick to them and everything.
Right. It's like all kind of hard magic or else it's just, Or else it's just a backdrop thing that you can't access as the player.
Sure. Like God, whenever they put like gods and stuff.
Yeah, mythological is its own like category of magical stuff, you know.
Definitely.
That's
like mythology and magical creatures, you know.
Yep.
Love cryptids.
You should, I always thought about writing a cryptid for Never Told and everything.
What's a cryptid for those who don't know? I don't know what a cryptid is.
Oh, sorry. Cryptids are like centaurs, wendigos, the New Jersey Devil, like the
mythological.
Yeah, like they're not chupacabra.
Okay,
like they're not
those
real.
mythological creatures.
Ghouls, yes.
Okay.
Yes. That cryptids is just like
It's another term for mythological creatures.
Cryptozoology is legitimately, as a kid, I was like, I want to be a cryptozoologist.
It's just studying of like these things and everything.
Congrats, you already are.
Yeah, honestly.
Well, it's like what Supernatural is basically a show about cryptids and cryptozoology.
Right. And then there's like the Percy Jackson books.
Oh, sure.
Are like that's
wonderful.
That's one of the main areas where you're going to get mythology and mythological creatures as far as your magic.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have a preference for for me. It depends on the story. Like I love Lord of the Rings, which is like high fantasy, low magic. I think the thing is I like high fantasy, whichever way you do it.
Sure.
I really like
it's done well, right?
Right. Like I really like Lodoss War, and that's very high magic.
Yep.
And they have rules, and I like with high magic, at least I like where there's studying and attunement and things that take time, which, is based on the role-playing game that story is based on. But, you see Slain, like he's chanting a spell. There's a lot of chanting. There's a lot of studying. And there are rules, like even with when Ashram gets like the Soul Crusher sword, he has to like master it. He takes time. He has to get it to attune to him.
Yeah.
Which is also kind of how like magic in the system Shadow World works, with like the one that I've run a lot. So you like magic items, you can use certain ones, but other things you need to attune them to you over time. And I like the time factor so that it's not just, anyone with a decent intelligence score can use this magic item all the time. Certain things are good that way, other things less so. But for me, it's more about the story and the consistency.
Yeah, most definitely. We were playing a TTRPG called Fabula Ultima with some friends and GMing for the first time.
Tabletop role-playing game.
And it's been it's such a different kind of, since it's cinematic and you just kind of describe what you do, and like there's no distances and there's no like real rules, and you have skills still and you still can do all this stuff. You just got to say what you do and roll for them still. But it's more like, I'm going to go beat that guy and slash him. I was like, all right, roll for it. Like there's no like, that's more of like a soft like magic, or like even like playing system. Let's call it like a soft.
That's even system. I'd say cinematic is even soft physics.
That too, yeah, because like
it's very flexible. It's like, do what you want. You're a special character, so you can do it.
Yeah, it's anime. You can do whatever the heck you want. That's basically what it is. Yeah. But I was thinking too about soft magic. Willow is the movie Willow. You've seen Willow?
I haven't gotten through the whole thing yet.
Not the TV series, the actual movie.
Yeah, I saw like the first 20 minutes.
Oh, you never? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get through it.
So
I've never seen it.
Yeah, he's training to be a wizard. So it's this weird like in between where like if you use a magic system where like you're learning from somebody else and everything, they basically hold all the rules, and then the story kind of pushes in that direction, but there's still rules governed by whatever person is the master of it, I guess, and he's just trying to learn like, no, you got to focus. No, you got to get this, you got to do that and everything. So it's that there's nothing set at the beginning. It's just kind of like we're discovering with them, which kind of like the Sorcerer's Apprentice, like that. Yeah.
And one thing I like about, that approach is that I've seen this with my game Shadow World. You can set it up that way and then have characters realize, oh, that's just their understanding of the rules. And like, it's sort of like, new math or whatever. Like you take a different approach, and with new math, that's a bad example maybe because you get the same results, but where there are other, like maybe there are rules they don't know. There's like, groundbreaking discoveries to be made, or that other people had made that person's not aware of, like sort of like learning medicine in the 14th century. Here are the rules you follow. And then, oh my goodness, you found so many other rules as you've done more research.
Yeah.
So that kind of sets that up when you're learning from a person, like apprenticeship.
Yeah.
You're only learning what they know.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that's all, that those are the rules. and that's all there is to know.
The apprentice has become the master.
That actually brings us back to our limited like perspectives episode. And I don't know if we touched on that specifically, like in that kind of context, because you would only learn what the person is teaching you, and they could withhold a lot, which I think happens in Aragon, if I'm remembering correctly, which is another it's another like it's not
calling Aragon during Lord of the Rings.
And I had another close friend that actually did the same thing. We were having a conversation like in the lunchroom, and he kept saying like Aragon, and I was like, oh, the dragon story. He's like, no, Lord of the Rings. And so the entire conversation,
no, Catherine of Aragon.
God, the whole conversation was like, he's got to know. Like, somebody's got to tell him.
You got to know he's an idiot.
It's Aragorn. But the question of like, because what was the question of like, what are the stories that we like? Or
what styles of magic and what kind of stories involving magic?
Because I think what you were saying too is that, or maybe the mix of both of you, is that it does like lead into plot. Like eventually, like it's a world building concept, right? That's why we're kind of talking about it today, but it will, or it can often lead to like plot devices or things with the plot.
Yeah.
And whereas I don't think that like that's my favorite type of magic. I like when the magic is just there as like an auxiliary, like ornament thing. Whereas it seems like you guys like when it does touch into the plot, perhaps, maybe not all of the examples.
Well, and again, like it depends on the story. Like Lord of the Rings, it doesn't always, but if you're having a story that involves magic, it's sort of like Chekhov's gun. Why are you involving magic if it's not going to play in?
It's true.
You know, and even if it's just a background, that backgrounds need to affect what's going on, or else why are you describing that aspect of the background?
Right.
It doesn't necessarily have to actively intermix, but it's going to shape how the characters and the plot go. But like, you know, kind of like what you were saying when you said new perspective, you know, different perspectives, kind of getting back to that question of like, why do we put magic in stories? I think part of it is to open new perspectives.
Sure.
Because, you know, without like magic tends to open up new ways of exploring things that wouldn't exist without it.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Like flight. Like if you, obviously you can't fly without a plane or whatever, but if you could, with magic, whatever, you're free. Like, and you have more new perspectives. Sorry, that's the first thing I thought.
Yeah. Well, and just, you know, it maybe even different forms of the same principles, like sacrifice. Okay, what might be a magical sacrifice? Like, okay, I can do this thing, but like, you know, create a Horcrux, but you're sacrificing a piece of your soul. And this isn't something we have to contemplate in regular life.
Right. Oh, I see what you're saying now.
You can be interpretive about it, but I get your point. Yeah.
But also, you know, certain things can be amplified. Like certain sacrifices are more meaningful if, like, you know, it's like, okay, I can have this thing going on, but it's going to drain this part of my magical essence or something for the end of time. It can create new levels of suffering, sacrifice, new kinds of stewardship. Like you're a steward over, like you're watching over this portal to this other magical realm or something, or, you know, if you're a wizard, you have to, it's part of your duty to look after A, the secret of magic, or B, like this big magical mistake that was like, you have to guard this ground from letting other people into it because there was a big, you know, the equivalent of a magical nuke that went off here. And like, you know, you got to protect people from the magical radiation. In Shadow World, for example, there are navigators. Clearly they borrowed this from Dune a little bit. But there are these big, powerful, like essence flow storms, like magical flow storms, and they can pop up really quick. They can whisk you off to not just bury your ship or like capsize it, but they can whisk you off to another plane of existence or something like that. And so you have these navigators who have these devices that help them control those flows. So if you really need your ship to get where it's going to be extra sure, you hire a navigator at an exorbitant rate and they make sure you're getting there. So it's a new kind of like magical stewardship.
I see what you're saying.
And like just the existence of these magical storms creates new possibilities, new accessing new perspectives. If you do get whisked off to another plane of existence, what might you see there?
Right.
What might that reality entail? How do you have to navigate it to get back? Kind of like the old, like Arkham Horror, you know, Cthulhu type, the extra planar stuff that goes on.
I mean, even if you take it down to what is actually in reality and the idea of like you needed people who could read stars, people who knew waterways, people who knew just like rivers and some of that. Right. It's all, I mean, everything in life is derivative or transformative. So I feel like that people like, what if you use magic to get through certain places? And I think people just love that. I mean, navigation, journey, all that stuff. I think people just really love that concept, and journeying to a new world through magical means is even a greater, like, you know, pathway for a lot of people. And I think that's why people tend to go to one, because, you know, modern life is mundane. People want to do and see magical and great, grand things and everything. And with magic and even sci-fi, I mean, the sky's the limit. Like, there's nothing you can't do. You just got to think of it. So, and magic is just a fun thing that I think too, where science is external that we harness, magic is internal that we harness. And I think that's why a lot of people, because you find like a lot of strength in that, like with either with like endurance or like being able to cast willpower and some of that. And I think that's why a lot of people do, because it's a very personal thing. Like magic is very personal, I feel like.
Well, and it's funny because different types of magic can break down whether or not it's external or internal. So
sure,
like,
depends.
Like, yeah, like I know, like Shadow World Rollmaster, like the game that I run. There's like essence magic, which is, it's kind of like the forest, like things around you have this like radiation, like this essence radiation. Sure. You harness that. Or there's channeling magic, which is from deities, whatever.
Yeah.
Or there's called mentalism, which is almost more like psi powers, and that's the most internal of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a sense.
Yeah, like psionics and some of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then science can be the same way, where it's like if you're talking about like how to harness like adrenal stuff, like there's potentially science involved there.
Yeah.
And then you kind of, when you get the crossover, it becomes more like yogic powers.
Oh, sure.
You know, like all like the stuff that, you know, a lot of like Indian Buddhist mystics were, you know, purported to be able to do, you know, or Jesus, you know, walking on water and stuff like that, you know.
Yoga.
He was actually just a lizard.
I mean, honestly, like people in India, like the Hindus and Buddhist traditions in India just looked at Jesus as another one of them.
Probably, yeah. Probably just another way they access it in a different way, or just, you know, if that
it's like we can do those party tricks too. You know, we have enlightenment, you know, just like
wine. Oh no, it's just wine. Water.
Yeah. It's not that they're not impressed. It's just like, oh yeah, we don't have a monopoly on that, you know.
Sure. And they're just happy that like they're spreading whatever, you know, magic, I say, and joy and, you know, stuff.
Yeah.
Like
just in, you know, the enlightenment stuff and stuff that goes with that. But you know, it's not supposed to be about these powers. It's supposed to be about understanding.
Right. So the fact that there's not only like these different types of like ranges of, you know, fantasy, you know, high fantasy, low fantasy, there can be hard magic, soft magic. And within magic, there can be several different types of categories of magic. Yeah. Like you're saying.
Just like with science, really.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah.
And so now sometimes like people just like sci-fi and some people just like fantasy. And like, I feel like one opens different doors than another one. Like, you know, you're probably going to see more dragons in fantasy. You might see them in sci-fi too, in some way, shape, or form.
I have an idea for one, but anyways.
Oh, okay.
But
I like the fact that, you know, there's really so much that you can do with magic in fantasy. Again, like you said, Rio, that you just have to be able to think of it, give it some ground rules to sort of base it in the reality of whatever story you're writing or, you know, reading, depending on who we're talking to. But I do love the fact that regardless of all of that, it's stuff that's just not mundane. You know, some people love the like slice of life, you know, modern, you know, genres, and they go to that. They find comfort in that. But I think I'm seeing now why people love going to fantasy, because there's just so much that's so surreal that we don't get in real life.
Yeah.
But I also feel like if we peeled back the curtain just a little bit in real life, we would find that some of this magic kind of quote unquote does exist.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, and also I think this part of why some people like fantasy but don't like sci-fi is they look at sci-fi and think, oh, it's science, it's mundane.
Yeah.
Like, I knew a guy, I was friends with a guy growing up that anytime we do role playing, he always wanted to make a wizard if it was fantasy.
Sure.
And I ran a sci-fi game once and he's like, oh, okay, which of these things can I play? And I said, anything but a telepath.
Nice. Yeah.
And he's like, how did you know what I wanted to make? Like, because I know you, man. you want to play a wizard in space. Like, no, that's not what this game is.
Basically.
Like, I want someone to play a telepath who doesn't always do that, you know?
Yeah.
Speaking of wizards and like stuff like that, because one of the things that, or the tropes of wizards or spellcasters is that glass cannon kind of idea, where like when you focus so much, or if you're the best wizard, you focus on the mental and the willpower and some of that, but your body is frail. So you can do devastating things, but you can't take a hit, you know, one punch and he's out or whatever, you know? So it's the idea of a glass cannon, very powerful, but shatters easily. Right. You know?
Yeah.
And I like that because it's in any story of like, if something's just way too powerful and there's no like, stakes at stake. We're at Texas Roadhouse. But
wagering beef, apparently. How many stakes are at stake?
Why you see the frail wizard.
Yeah.
You know, like he's this old, frail dude or lady.
Yeah. But I just like, I think it's, I don't want to say necessary, but if you don't give them, if you don't give any character like actual like not disabilities. What am I looking for? Disadvantages. Thank you. It just becomes like, what's the purpose then? You know, with stories, you got to be careful about that.
Well, and I think that this concept, the glass cannon, comes from a couple places.
D&D, right?
First, you see it in D&D because if you want characters, you want the people playing the characters to all feel like they made an equal to their companions. So they're not like, well, if I make a wizard, I'm just more powerful than the rest of the people who aren't wizards. So of course you get to be frail while they can be, you know, physically fit and non-magical. Yeah. But you also see it from the trope of people. If magic is a thing you have to study, then people usually gravitate towards either studying or physical exertion.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful not to mix and match too much. Like Harry Potter, magic is innate. And so if they had all of their best wizards be glass cannons, it wouldn't make any sense. Because a person can be, if it's innate, a person can also be athletic, coordinated, you know, physically alert. You could have a wizard who's, you know, Bruce Lee as well.
I mean, sure, that's like chi, like like Chinese kind of ideas like that, focusing of that energy.
And granted, like, you know, Bruce Lee, like it was Bruce Lee because not just he was naturally physically fit, but like he did put in a lot of hours of practice.
Right.
So there is that side of it still. It's still going to be about what you focus on the most, but you can still not just be made of glass and be, you know, a great wizard.
Or if you do, like to your point, have your backup. Like that's even like military speakingly that there's like you have an artillery, whatever, you got to guard it or that artillery becomes useless.
Right. Yeah, it's like everyone has their function, their role. It's like special teams in football too.
Yeah.
That's all the ball, right?
I also do think that the glass cannon, I mean, like it doesn't have to be like, we could take it a step further too and say like they just have some kind of weakness, or this amount of magic does have some kind of sacrifice that needs to be made to have that level of power, which I know is not the intent of the glass cannon, but I also do think that it's a fun aspect to play with. When you have somebody that is so powerful, like the quote unquote, like blood magic type stuff, like it's very powerful magic and wherever it's used, but it's also at the like sacrifice of their like character or of their reputation,
like damaging to them or like you said, reputation.
Well, I mean, if you look at Star Wars, like the dark side or whatever, I've sort of got this in my notes here. Both Lord of the Rings and Star Wars are in their own way, and I know this is a big simplification, but bear with me. They are both retellings of the tortoise and the hare. Because
explain.
Okay, so like Lord of the Rings, how are we going to destroy this ring?
Sure.
Okay, there's no better example of slow and steady winning the race, just like walking it in real time into Mordor.
That's true.
And it's like what's considered the least powerful, like least wise, whatever people, just the most resilient, earthy people, like the least magical in a sense, are doing this.
Yeah.
It's that slow and steady wins the race. And then Star Wars also, the path of the dark side is quicker and easier.
Yeah.
But, you know, then there's all that. What's the cost, you know? So it's kind of different retellings of the tortoise and the hare.
I get you. Yeah.
I see it now.
Yeah.
I can
see it.
If I squint one eye.
Yeah.
I got it with my head tilted. No, I'm just kidding.
Looks like Cher, yeah.
But yeah, I think that's one of the things. I think that's part of the temptation of things like you can use magic as a temptation in story just as much as a mechanic.
Yeah.
Like what's the temptation of taking this route versus that route? Like I said, it introduces new perspectives, new sacrifices, etc. Also new temptations and new things you have to resist.
I like that use of it a lot because I do like, again, character driven stories. It's one of my favorite things. And when you have, a big focus on characters, you have to challenge them. You have to develop them well. You have to, in order for them to grow, they have to go through something. And when they go through something, it's sometimes like a fork in the road. Do I do the right thing? Do I do the wrong thing?
Yeah. It's like Galadriel's reaction to being offered the ring.
Yes. Yes. Like what are they going to do when they're, facing that choice? And, so I do, with magic being a sort of temptation in that way, I like that. If that's a trope, I think it's one of my favorites because the power of will is something that I just love as a person. And then I also love having the characters that are not affected by magic at all. And they couldn't give, two craps about it. And then they're not tempted in that way, in any shape or form.
And that's why everyone's arguing to have Tom Bombadil in. No, I'm just kidding. No.
I would love it. I would love it.
God, you know what? The things about this is just like we need to I think starting sometime in the future, we need to do a series of things because we just touched this and we could do so much more on this.
Yeah, I do want to do an episode on magical weapons, weapons being one of our topics that was suggested by one of y'all. Yeah. So keep those coming.
Yeah, but definitely I think this in the future is if we choose something, especially that's so deep and everything like this, we probably should maybe do a series
I agree
because I'm just we're done sci-fi guys.
And now we have 3 other different topics that we got just from this one particular thing, including cryptids. I'm gonna bring that one back.
And this one was so overdue too.
Yeah, it was.
So.
I just sat down and it came out. I'm like, why haven't we done this?
Yeah.
All the times when I said dumb things come out and I just.
But I do think it was a good. What's the 30,000 foot view of the topic, and then also being able to for our readers later on, we've already established the different structures of magic and the different types. So later on, you can always reference back to this one to sort of see what we were talking about. But we'll also try to be kind and include it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do want to take 1 second out here to mention magical thinking. That's just when people don't have a way to achieve something. They're just well, if I do this, then that'll happen. And we see that in psychology all the time. So try not to just wish things into being. You got to actually put in the effort.
Got to do some action. Yeah.
Yeah.
With that, we have been Bards and Balladeers. This has been the magic word. So magic. But I am Rio.
I'm Oscar.
I'm Kate.
See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.